Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
Rock and Review is so thrilled to bring you a heavy metal guitarist that got one of the best solos, top 10 solos of 2020, Gus G. Thanks for coming on the Rock and Review, Gus.
What's happening, Eric? Thank you.
You know, congratulations. We got to talk about this. And obviously, I knew your work, from your previous bands and touring with Ozzy for almost 10 years, Gus. But you've got your own brand of pickups now with Blackfire Pickups, right?
Correct. Yeah, we just launched that earlier, about a month ago. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's I've designed all kinds of gear throughout the years. Guitars and pedals and effects and stuff like that. But it's a different thing to own a company, instead of just like endorsing, as opposed to that. So it's cool.
I thought that was pretty incredible too, because coming right out of the box on this, Gus, you're offering two different pickups. You've got the Proteus and the Immortal, so you're kind of covering passive pickups, which are great for a lot of people. But as you and I both know, a lot of metal guitarists, really like having the extra boost of the battery power to get more charge out.
That's correct. Yeah. So we have an active and a passive model. That's what we're starting out with, and I think the whole idea just started out of that kind of necessity, the whole idea of starting out a company like that, so I can have various types of pickups, and I'm sure we're going to make more in the future. But for now, like you just mentioned, the Proteus is an active pickup, and this is what I use on the Star guitar that you see back there.
Oh, yeah.
And then if I want to play more like hard rock stuff and I want to switch to passive for different types of tones, then I go to the Immortal. And that was the philosophy behind it, really. Just have those options, basically. Yeah.
Well, I think it really makes sense too, and I'm sure down the line you'll end up bringing in single coil pickups too. But I want to talk about your new album that came out, and I listened to the tracks, and I got a lot of favorites. But also with Firewind, you've got a video out, Devour, and it's like that's pretty awesome music you're doing with this.
Thank you. Well, the album came out last May. So, that's the latest recording we put out, and Devour is the latest video, which is the track off the self-titled album that came out last May. Obviously, we couldn't tour behind it because, pandemic.
Right.
So this is the situation. So, we're trying to stay creative despite all this, and we put out this new video a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. In my opinion, it's one of my favorites of the album. So yeah, I think it's one of the strongest tracks.
Well, I think what's interesting too with the album on this, Gus, because I've always been a fan of your guitar approach and everything, to where you kind of intertwine, classic rock within your metal. You can certainly hear your influences, but same thing on the album, to where you've got some great, like rock, but you got some metal, and also on the one song you're opening up with an acoustic guitar, which is kind of interesting because your first guitar was a classical guitar.
Correct. Yeah. I like to play stuff. I don't consider myself a classical guitar player or even an acoustic guitar player, but anybody that plays electric guitar, they have an acoustic and they like to play chords and come up with stuff. And a lot of the times, a lot of the riffs they're born out of jams on the acoustic guitar. Yeah. And then you kind of like play them with distortion later on and you make them into heavy riffs. And yeah, so the song Welcome to the Empire, which is, the album intro as well, it starts out like that, Mm-hmm. Acoustic, yeah.
Well, and you come from a family of musicians. Your dad was a folk guitarist and musician, but I also want to bring up singer. Okay, and I want to bring this up too, that the first album that really kind of drew you in was Peter Frampton. Frampton Comes Alive, right?
Yeah. Thank God my dad had that vinyl at home, and he used to play, because my dad is into Greek music, he sings in weddings and stuff like that, but he had an open mind. He liked all kinds of music, and he had a few rock and roll vinyls at home. And, listening to Peter Frampton and doing that talk box guitar, on the song Do You Feel Like We Do. When I was a kid, I thought that was some robot talking. And I was like, what's that, Dad? And he was like, no, that's a guitar, son. That's an electric guitar. And that totally blew my mind, man. I was like, wow, I need to learn how to do this.
And obviously you did, Gus. It took you a few more years to convince him into getting you electric. but at only 18, you went to Berkeley, and that kind of launched your whole career, didn't it?
Yeah, right after high school, I flew over to Boston and, went over to study at Berkeley. And then very soon after, I realized that, my dream wasn't really to be in college, but my dream was to start a band and make songs, make records, and find a way how to do that. And I mean, it was a long journey. It was like, I've been all over the place. I lived in the States for a while, then I moved to Sweden, and that's when things kind of started happening. So yeah, it was a process, of course. It wasn't like an overnight kind of thing.
Although, you know what, it's not a bad thing when Ozzy, selects you personally to be in his band, and you had such a long run with Ozzy, and seeing you out on tour with him and everything, that had to be some great fun also.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a highlight in my life, in my career. I mean, I would have never in a million years thought that, somebody of that caliber would be, on the lookout for somebody like me. So it was, I don't know, even to this day, I don't know how that happened, but it did,
Yeah.
I think Ozzy has a certain ear for certain sounds, and he might not be able to explain in musical terms, but he knows what he likes, and he knows what, if he likes something, he goes for it. And we clicked right away, and I had a good run with him, man. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot from him. It was great.
Well, you brought a lot to the table. I also want to bring up too, you've got such a huge following on social media and everything, and with all the Gus G projects that you have going. But also, it seems like you're using some cat labor, and there's been some concerns on that within the Instagram on how you're making the cats work to actually help package things that you send out to people. How are you accomplishing that, Gus?
Well, the cats help out with everything, with producing music, packing the merch, everything,
I just think it's so much fun, on everything you do on Instagram and everywhere. It's like, oh look, there are Gus's cats again.
Yep. It's all about guitars and cats. So if you come to my social media, to my Instagram or something, and I have 3 cats. So it's fun. Life is so much better with cats in the house. Absolutely.
Well, I got to bring this up too, Gus. And obviously you've been with Black Star Amplifiers for a long time, and also Jackson Guitars. And I'm sure on this new album that came out this past year, and obviously the singles and videos rolling out now, that you've been using a lot of Jackson guitars on those.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been with Jackson for about 5 years now, since 2016, I think. Yeah. And the last few albums that I've done, it's been strictly, with my signature models that we've created. And I mean, these are my go-to guitars. That's it. People ask me what's so special about it. I guess the fact that, I was involved into designing these, and, that's the whole point of having a signature or putting your name on an instrument. The whole point is that it fits your specs, your needs for your sound and your style. That's what it's about. And I couldn't be happier with it.
Well, I got to bring this up too, Gus. You've got so much going on with your own pickup company. You've got the album that came out, with Blackfire, and then you've got your album that came out with Firewind. What are you planning for the coming year? Are there going to be more videos, more singles, more pickups? Tell us about it.
Well, we're now in the process of, trying to set up get the pickups available worldwide as we speak. So we're slowly getting, we're building a network of distribution, which is very exciting. Yeah, promoting the pickups, obviously, but I've also just finished up a new solo record, which is it's going to be all instrumental, no vocals on this one. So it's going to be my first instrumental record, so to speak. And I'm not sure when that's coming out, but I think in the next couple of months, there should be the first single should be coming out. Yeah.
And so will the cats be involved in that album and the singles also, Gus?
Absolutely. Yeah. The cats engineered the album, and they were there with me on every take that I played. They made sure all notes are correct. So yeah, the cats have had their own, without a doubt.
Well, I want to make sure too for our viewers, Gus, that they know where to go for your website, for the pickups, for the album, for everything Gus G, and also obviously social media with your huge following on Instagram. Where should they go?
Yeah, well, the websites are gusgofficial.com. For the pickups, you can go to blackfirepickups.com. Firewind, you can look us up at firewind.gr, and on all social media, Firewind Official and Gus G Official.
Well, I'll tell you what, congratulations on everything, Gus G. It's so nice actually talking to you from Greece. I'm sorry we couldn't do this in person, and I know we've seen each other at the NAMM shows. But
no NAMM this year.
Yeah, congratulations on everything with the pickups, with the music, and it's going great. I can't wait to hear the new album also. Gus G, thank you so much for joining the Rocket Review.
Thank you so much, Eric. Take it easy.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.